Mary built up a team in the Development Alumni Relations Office at the London School of Economics, which really knew what they were doing, and she led them through a £100 million campaign. So she implemented a process that needed to be done, and then she demonstrated to all of us how effective that could be.
I've been working in development in the UK for 16 years, and I first met Mary Blair through Case, and it was at a conference. I can remember it because Mary has the most distinctive voice. Her voice can fill a room and everyone listens to it. When I first saw Mary, she has a great sense of authority about her. She's like an American battleship sailing into port, bristling with guns, with the stars and stripes flying.
Mary. Mary Blair, for me, as a kind of young fundraiser starting out in the charity sector, actually, not the higher education sector, was this name that I heard about that people talked about as, have you seen Mary? And particularly colleagues of mine who are American, who I think there's this kind of induction programme that happens that if you're American you get off the plane and then you have to go and sit in Mary's office for 2 hours and she tells you what it's like in the UK.
I do remember the first time I met Mary Blair. Mary was sitting on the opposite side of the table from me because she was on the interview panel when I first moved to England. And I had never met Mary. She asked the most challenging questions of anybody on the panel. And I remember it was very intimidating. But then as soon as the panel was over and I found out I had gotten the job, Mary called me up and said, Ron, we need to get together so I can help you in your transition. And that's exactly what she did.
So Mary Blair, Mary was my first boss at Johns Hopkins University, where she worked before she came over to LSE. And everything I think that the Brits have come to love about Mary's style and the work that she's done here actually was the same thing that we loved about it at Hopkins. Mary took me under her wing as a new arrival to Johns Hopkins, having come from another institution, and in a professionally motherly kind of way, taught me what I needed to know, taught me the politics, pushed me really hard and forced me to rise up to the expectations of the institution in a way that was hugely helpful.
And I went to one of Mary's sessions, training session, I think a case one, that she did on processes and setting up teams and how you manage major gift strategy. And I just sat in this room and looked at her and just thought, that is amazing. And what was amazing about it was not that she had built this incredible team at LSE, which she did, but that she was the first person I'd ever heard from a platform say, I got some of it wrong, and this is what happened. And she was just really, really honest. And I think we all, and I try and remember this actually when I do things like the Spring Institute, is remember that actually someone standing up and just telling the good things about what they've done, it can sometimes leave people going away feeling quite intimidated. And what Mary does is she's just honest. She's really honest about how hard this is, how it sometimes takes longer than you think, how sometimes you set targets and they don't get met.
The reason why things have moved so rapidly and so far in Europe in the past 10 years, I really believe, is because we've been blessed with practitioners who not only did their job well, but were generous in helping their colleagues do their job well also. And Mary's done that. And I'd pick out 3 pieces of service as critical. One, preeminently, was the contribution she made to the committee that produced the Thomas Report on voluntary giving to UK universities, where she was the voice of the development professional, and luckily for us it was an informed and an insistent voice, and so much has followed from that report. The second is her indefatigable pursuit of robust data, which led to the Ross Case survey that we all know and love. The third piece is probably less well known, but nevertheless enormously important for all of us, and it's her service as a trustee of Case Europe.
And when I see people that have that level of commitment and do that amount of things for the sector generally, it's very impressive.
So it's been a real source of pride for all of us to have watched what she's done over here.
And we really owe her a huge debt of gratitude.
And I'm glad that now she's not at LSE, she's going to be staying around.
Mary's legacy, if you will, to all of us after her years at the LSE is data, it's professionalism, and it's momentum. There is no going back now. And it's lovely to have a chance to acknowledge that impact at this hinge in her career.